Hello everyone, it's Erin here and welcome to my A Wild Light channel. So this is a part 2 video of the A Wild Light Creative Postcard Challenge. So in our Facebook group we are making postcards, we're doing a postcard swap, and so I'm just doing a couple of videos to take you through my process of making postcards. The first video, part 1, I just sort of talked about size and weight dimensions of postcards and the kind of materials that I thought I was going to use. So in this video, I will take you through my process a little bit more. And what I've sort of done here is made a bit of a factory line process. So I prepare, I'll start with one postcard, put some paint, and while that's drying, bring the next one in, paint that while that's drying, do the third one, and then just keep rotating them while the paint's drying, work on the next one, while the paint's drying, work on, and that's basically my process. So I hope it doesn't look too confusing as I'm moving that one, bring in that one, do this, move that one, bring in that one. But you know, it's just the most effective use of the hour that I'm putting aside to do this. So that's my basic process. Extra supplies that I'm using. So I took you through that I would be using gesso to prime the surface, and I would be using matte medium as part of building up the sort of collage of the surface. Also, I might add that I'll probably be using some of these Caran d'Ache. These are water-soluble oil pastels, so you colour with them, and then you'll see me adding a paintbrush that's just got water on it, and that turns to paint. So these are wonderful, especially for doing backgrounds. You know, you just scribble on and then paint over it, it turns into paint, and you swish it around, and the colours are stunning, they're easy to use. I highly recommend these Caran d'Ache. And also you'll probably find me using maybe some pan pastels. So these are pastels, like you may have seen them like in crayon type pastels, but these are pans. So they're just, this one's a bit crumbly, so they're just like that. And often, I mean, you can get a dab sponge, but I just put my finger in there and swish it around. Both of these things being kind of, will react to the water or whatever liquid is put on top of them. So when I put water or matte medium or something, they'll smush. I think that's the main things. Okay, so I'm gonna get started on this whole thing now, and yeah, hope you enjoy it. Okay, so I start by cutting up the cardboard postage envelope, and I'm just measuring it in half, and I'm gonna do the two postcards separately, rather than just making one big coloured sheet and cutting it into two. I'm going to do them individually. So I'm starting with the Caran d'Ache that I showed you before, and then just using water on a brush to spread it around. It's a really, really good way to just splash colour onto a background to start with. It just breaks the ice, if you like, with the canvas or the cardboard. Now I'm ripping up my paper, and I'm sticking it down with matte medium. And you use matte medium like you just use glue on a brush, and you just wipe it on, brush it on there, and then brush it over the top as well, like this. And that makes sure all the edges and everything lays flat. Here I'm using Dylusions acrylic white paint. This is really handy stuff, and I like it because it's made so that it dries quickly, because it's for journaling. And so, you know, you want journaling paint, you want to be able to dry quickly and write on top of it and that sort of thing. So Dylusions products are really good for that type of thing. And spreading it around with an old credit card. And adding some extra white here, just to give it some depth, colour. And then I felt like it had too much paint on it. So I've come through with some kitchen towel and just rubbing it off where the paper is, just to expose some of the print and the writing. And then I'm putting some pan pastel shading in there as well. Just where I think it should go. No rhyme or reason, really, just intuitively putting it wherever I feel like I want. Really to blend the edges of all the paper bits and the cardboard bits together. This is my acrylic ink. And I think I needed a better way to spread it. There we go. kind of like to spread things around and then wipe them off and then expose certain bits. And I'm just wiping some matte medium over the top again to give it a good finishing surface so that I can work on top of it again once it dries. And also to help seal it a bit because it's a postcard. But the products that I've used, the mediums that I've used, all react to the matte medium as well, so they smush around even more. Okay, so the next postcard I'm covering with gesso first. And this is watered down gesso, so it's not very thick because I want it to expose the little Happy Mail stamp that I've got underneath there. And some Tim Holtz Distress Spray Stain. This one is called Salty Ocean, this colour. It's so beautiful. So this is the pasta box cutout postcard. And I'm covering this with the thick gesso because the printing on the pasta box is obviously so dark. But it's best to use the thickest one and a couple of coats. And again, I'm making sure things dry properly before I'm working on them. Just because I've sped the video up, you can't tell how long I'm leaving it, but I am giving it a good time. So make sure you use a hairdryer or just give it a good amount of time before you work on it with the next medium. So I've basically prepped each of the postcards. I've given them the kind of background and colour washes on them that I want, and got them ready. So now I'm in the place where I'm thinking about the kind of design that I want on them, what sort of image or main image that I'm going to put on them. So obviously for this one I'm going to do a face. I think I'm going to work on them in pencil now and do the main design in pencil because it's probably more postcard friendly, I don't know, mail friendly, not sure. And this one, I'm going to do an owl. And I want it to be simple. I don't want this to be too hard, too much. I want to scare myself off. I just want to make it kind of, simple and happy. Little happy little owl. What I want to do is really easy, kind of basic designs that aren't too fussy, and then later come in and embellish them a bit more. And I still have to cut these down to size, so I'm adding a few touches, and then I'm pretty much going to cut them down to the right size. And then work on them once they're all dry and cut down, work on them with the finishing touches or with more detail. So at this stage, I feel like I pretty much got my 3 postcards prepped. And I'm basically going to leave them to dry overnight for a long time so that I feel like they're really dry and really ready to work on with a bit more detail. I've got to cut them down to size, and of course I've got to do the back of each card. So I'm going to leave them for now, and I will be back to update this tomorrow. Hello! Okay, time for an update on the postcards. So in the previous part of this video, I have been prepping the postcards, and that is putting paint on them and putting colour and collage, bits of paper, all that sort of thing, just to give them a texture, just to give them a background, something that I can then work on. And I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I've left them to dry overnight, and then I've done a little bit of work on them. So let me show you what I've done so far. Okay, so these are our postcards, are my postcards now. I've got the third one here, but it's got water still drying on it, paint still drying on it. So what I've done is, once they were dried, I've basically come in with coloured pencil. I'll talk you through this one first. So I've come in with colour pencil, just white. This all dried, and I've drawn the butterfly in white Prismacolor. Here, this one here. And I chose that because I thought, well, that it would stand out well, and also that then I wouldn't have an issue with, I don't know how it's going to go with posting, you know, if it's the paint's going to come off, if it gets wet. I mean, I know that the mail does make an effort, the postman makes an effort to look after your post, you know, they're not leaving them out lying in the rain or anything like that. So, but I thought that, yeah, using colour pencil might be the best option for me. And because I had put matte medium over the background, the colour pencil took very well to the top of the card. And yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. You know, I actually went on to Pinterest and just, you know, picked out an illustration of a butterfly that I liked and basically just copied it. And then embellished it is all I did. There's put some glitter, what's it called? Iridescent medium it's called, that you mix with watercolor paint, but I just splashed it on top. I don't know if you can see the shimmer there, but it really is lovely. And then I got my one of my favorite Jane Davenport washies up the top here. This one says, "I'm learning to fly." They're like that on, and I think it's lovely, and I love it. And the whole thing did not take me very long at all, and it was simple, you know, so I really love that one. The owl one, pretty much the same thing. You saw when I prepped it that I did a really basic watercolor owl on the front, and all I did after that was come in again with a selection of color pencils, and I just did these little patterns all the way around, and then I took a little bit of blue ink and did some dot work just to define the silhouette at the edges. And that was basically it. A little bit of white pen in there to make them stand out, and more iridescent medium here to give it some shimmer, because once you start putting glitter on things you just can't stop. Oh my goodness. And then I had this fabulous idea to do some star constellations on the side, a bit of a nighttime sky. So this is actually Cassiopeia, and this one's Andromeda. So they're goddess constellations. Isn't that cool? Okay, so, and in the last one, and I cut them down to size before I worked on them. So this one hasn't been cut to size yet. So I used colour pencil and worked in on the face, which I didn't like the face either, but I just stuck with it. I went with it. I got my colour pencils out and a little bit of Micron, again, because Micron is archival ink and it's waterproof and fade proof, so I thought that would be appropriate. Tried to think about what I was using in that sense, that it would be more waterproof. So I've worked on that. In the hair though, I'm not so sure. I've mixed watercolour with matte medium to try and, I don't know, do something there, but it's not quite finished yet, but that's okay. But I will wait till this dries and then I'm going to cut it to size. So as you can see, I'm probably going to cut like that much off the edges, so it will shrink to about there, which is interesting. But I do like it. I like it, and I'm definitely going to get myself some glitter and iridescence going on in there. I know I am. And then the backs. So the backs, I have done the little line that you do, written postcard, left a gap for the stamp. I didn't know whether to put the lines on yet for the addresses. I don't know where I'm sending them to. They could be quite long addresses. My favourite Made with Love stamp. So that's just a wooden stamp. Where is it? I'll show it to you in a sec. And these are my stickers from my sticker collection that I made. for my shop. They're not in my shop yet, but they will be soon. This was a blank sticker, so I just wrote on there, please do not bend. And little watercolor teacups and teapots. I think they're really quite gorgeous. So the writing, I don't know what I'm going to write in there. I might write a letter, I might write a poem. Who knows? Nothing, you know, nothing huge, just a little bit of a poem, a couple of nice words and the address, and I think that'll do me. Okay, so these are the postcards that I've got so far. I really have enjoyed making them. I would love to make some more. If time permits, I definitely will. I'd like to send out lots of postcards. I'd like to send postcards all the time. Snail mail is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful thing to do and to receive. I just adore it. So I hope you've had some good ideas out of this. I hope, you know, it's given you a bit of inspiration. I cannot wait to see what everybody else is doing with their postcards. I'm sure they will be gorgeous. This is just probably one of my favourite ever A Wild Lark Creative challenges or activities that we've done. It's just too beautiful. I think we should make it a regular thing. Wow, snail mail, such a beautiful thing. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye!